Start. I'm glad to be back in Gauteng. I went home, Free State, for December holidays. I must say, I had very great fun there. In one of the days, I got to visit my cousin, who is a tuck shop owner in our township. So this cousin of mine is very proud of the fact that with only a matric qualification, he has established and developed so many tuck shops and spaza shops in our township. So he maintains exactly these were his words. Percy, Percy, Percy. I don't understand why people like yourself have to go to big cities, expensive universities, and study qualifications like marketing and communication. You see me, 5 spaza shops under my shoulder, no marketing or accounting degree. That was my cousin. We had a conversation, me and him. I wasn't shocked at all to hear his revelations, because I understood, for one, that experience can also be a great teacher. Some other people never do it, isn't that right? So I was really convinced that, you know what, yes, you're quite right. Maybe other people, they have it naturally in them, whatever they do, that they can succeed, or they have that knowledge to succeed in everything that they do. But some people, they have to go to school. And then as we went on, the evening progressed, and we were having a conversation, me and my uncle, me and my cousin. In response to his remarks, I started giving him a few marketing ideas. I started telling him that, you know what, you're successful in your own right. You have started from very humble beginnings. Started your first tuck shop at an informal settlement, and then when that grew or that succeeded, you started another tuck shop there, and then to prove that you have a predilection of establishing businesses, you even went on and started a tuck shop right here in my township. And now in December, you were starting another tuck shop at a developing section in our township. So this really shows that this cousin of mine, he has a predilection and he's very successful at what he does, which is establishing the tuck shop business. So I said to him, okay, fine, let me just give you a few marketing ideas, and then we'll see how it goes, whether you'll be able to implement them here in your business or you won't be able to. And then I started. My contribution to your spaza shop, when a cousin of mine, to this chain of your spaza shops, so this is my contribution. My contribution could maybe be, come up with a name for your chain of stores, design a certain logo, so then you are able to separate or to distinguish yourself from competitors, and also come up with a slogan that is going to make you occupy a certain position in the minds of your customers. And then he was shocked. I could see that he wants me to continue. And then I was like, I'm about to get someone or a client that is going to need my marketing consulting services. And then I went on. I went on to tell him that I can go around in those townships where all your spaza shops are situated, and then I can ask your customers, how happy are they with the service that you are offering? I can ask them if maybe there are any items or there are any products that they would like you to add in your stock. Then he was really intrigued. I went on and I explained to him that further on, we can also start a Facebook page for your spaza shop. How many spaza shops out there do you know have a Facebook page? So we can start a Facebook page spaza shop for you. He always complains about the rats eating some of his stock that he saves in another room. So I introduced this idea to him that we can, on the Facebook page, advertise the special of all the stock that you really want to get out of the shop. So these are just some of the marketing ideas that I was giving him. I also told him that we can also write news stories or advertisements that we can place in local radio stations or local television stations. I went on and explained to him that we can also write some news articles and then send it to local newspapers and just let the public know that there is this new brand of spaza shops that is really about to take over and that has all the product that they need. So a cousin of mine was really intrigued. At that moment, he realized the importance of a communication strategy within his organization. And may I add, a communication strategy is important in any organization, whether you're making an invention, whether you're in politics, whether it is communication for a good cause, like taking care, preserving our environment, or maybe a marathon, or communication for a health public awareness campaign. All these, they need communication strategies. I want you to think of something that we are currently facing. And these are messages that we come across each and every day on almost every communication platform with regards to the COVID-19. You know, there are adverts, there are campaigns on television, radio, billboards, newspapers, everywhere. There are messages encouraging us to keep safe and to also get vaccinated. So it shows that even behind that, there is a serious web of communication strategies that is taking place. So in the beginning of the year, and with the title of tonight's workshop being Learning by Doing, I know that as members of Toastmasters and even our guests and visitors, there are certain activities that we're going to apply ourselves during this year. So, which is why I thought it would be important that I speak about communication strategies, or how you can use communication strategies in your own organization or in your own little business or in your own course or whatever that you are doing. You can use communication strategies in order to succeed. So one thing about communication strategies that I would like to begin with before I go into anything deeper is the fact that communication happens in two platforms, or rather should I say there are two types of communication strategies. The first is the offline communication strategy, and then the second one is the online communication strategy. So now with the offline communication strategy, I'm talking about such communication channels as the very, very old, the traditional marketing and communication channels, such as your newspapers, your television, your radio, public relations, doing events, doing workshops like this. This is also a communication channel, but these are some that are called the offline communication channels, because these are the traditional communication channels. They are not happening in the new digital space of the internet or social media. So there is offline communication strategies. And then when we talk about online communication strategies, there we are talking about communication strategies that happen in the digital platform, such as communication strategies that you're going to do online, on the internet, your Google adverts, social media presence, and all of those. So in today's world, in this modern world, it has become increasingly important to have online communication strategies, because the internet is growing, and ever since the pandemic, more and more people are getting online, more and more people are starting to use the internet. So that shows the importance of having your online communication strategies. So So you have both your online and your offline communication strategies. So now that we understand the different types of communication strategies that we have, the online and offline, I don't want to overload you gentlemen with information. So the next part that we are moving to, it's like the body of your marketing strategy. So this is what the marketing strategy entails. After having decided whether you're going offline or going online, so these are the decisions that you need to make affecting your marketing strategy. So number one, you need to know your purpose for communication. If you are sending out an advert or you're thinking of sending out any marketing or communication message using whatever platform, you need to know what is it or why am I communicating? I'm sending this message out there to create awareness among the public of my business, or am I sending this message out there to encourage the public to actually come and purchase my product or my service? So that's the first important decision that one needs to make, is that purpose. Why am I doing this? Is that purpose. And if you have a clear purpose of your communication strategy, that can also be drawn from your objectives, because every communication strategy has an objective. We are communicating in order to get more members. We're communicating in order to get people to buy our product. So out of that is where you can decide. That is where you can craft the purpose of your communication strategy. And then the second important part of your communication strategy, the second important part of your communication strategy Second important part of your communication strategy is identifying your target market or identifying your customer. So now that you are an entrepreneur or you're a marketer, and then now you want to get your message across to the public, you need to identify which sections of the public am I actually going to be speaking to. I remember one time being involved with a youth non-profit organization. Our target market was divided into 3 different types because we are a youth non-profit organization, right? But then we had youth that was still in high school, and then we also had youth that was out of school but unemployed, and then we had youth that was out of school but employed. So all these different types of our target market, we need to approach them, or we need to communicate a specific message to them. So that's the second part. Quickly rephrase, the first part of your marketing strategy would be to have a purpose of why you're communicating. And then the second part would be to identify your target market. And then the third part, this is the most interesting and the most exciting part of any marketing strategy. This is where you decide on the communication message, what you're going to communicate. And one thing about the communication message is that we can't only just think about the communication message. In a marketing strategy, when you think about the communication message, you are also thinking about the communication channel. Because the communication channel influences how the communication message is going to be packaged. If I'm writing an article and then I'm going to post it on record or Pretoria News, for instance, and then maybe I can just include pictures of our meeting, I need not include a video, or I need not include a question and an answer format. I just need to write a short article, 3 or 4 paragraphs and a picture, because that is the way communication message on the newspaper is required. If I'm on social media, like Forum Toastmasters, we're very active on social media, and might I also say we do get a number of guests and visitors from our social media adverts, which is actually a great thing. So for a club like Forum Toastmasters, and then being in social media, and then that's when we know that the kind of communication messages that goes on social media, it's in a way of content. give people on social media, or we show people on social media exactly what we do when we're at forum. We show people on social media our adverts, and in our adverts appears the theme for the evening or the theme for the meeting, so that people get invited. So that's the thing with the marketing, or with the communication message and the communication channel. That's the reason why they go together. It is that when you are working on a television advert needs to be in a certain way. A radio advert needs to be in a certain way. A social media status or an update or whatever it is, it needs to be in a certain format that is acceptable in the platform of the social media. It is a communication message and channel. It is identifying your key target market or stakeholders. It is also about having a purpose in the communication message. And then a last aspect that we're going to look at of the marketing strategy is that of the marketing personnel. The marketing personnel. It's important that in your communication strategy, you've already identified which marketing personnel is going to do which activities. Stefan's strength is in social media. Bert's strength can be in events management or coordination. Peter's strength could be in public relations. So now, with communication personnel, larger organizations have the advantage that they have different individuals filling in these different marketing positions. They have an individual filling in internal communication, they have an individual sitting in social media, an individual responsible for public relations, events management, all these different marketing activities. They have people filling those roles. But as up-and-coming entrepreneurs or marketers, it might not necessarily be the case. You might find yourself having to be a jack of all trades. And I really hope that you are going to be master of one at least. So you might find yourself having to become a jack of all trades. So it's very important that when you are in the communication sector, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, understand the different communication activities that require different expertise. Someone who's good in public relations does not necessarily mean they can create good content for social media. Someone who's good in social media does not necessarily mean they can organize a worthwhile event. So it's very important that as an entrepreneur or as a marketer, you empower yourself by reading different books on marketing and understanding communication and marketing from various perspectives, because it is a broad industry. I've reached the end of my presentation, gentlemen, and I hope this has been insightful. And just to remind you, if there's everything that you cannot forget tonight, if there's just one thing that you have to take away, it is that everything is basically in your own hands. You can create winning marketing or communication strategies. Just remember the 4 important aspects of a communication strategy. That is, have a purpose for what you're communicating. Have a target market which you want to speak to. Have a message and a communication channel that you're going to use. And then lastly, empower yourself to become a relevant personnel for whatever marketing activity, or use key personnel for the different marketing activities. Mr. Session.